Hi, I'm Gail Rubin, the doyen of death, with today's Mortality Minute Book Review. As the sands of time pass through our hourglass, recently I was at the National Funeral Directors Association 2019 convention, and they hand out books at these conventions. One of the keynote speakers was marketing guru Seth Godin, and his book is This is Marketing. Why do funeral directors need marketing? The funeral field has changed in enormous ways, and unfortunately funeral homes have a habit of not keeping up with change. They don't like change. So we are bringing in marketing gurus to help funeral directors learn how to change. Now, in a nutshell, this book is basically summed up in the little bookmark they gave us. Seth Godin says, different people hear things differently. They see things differently. But you earn their attention by going where they are. He suggested in his speech to find your tribe, and that's what he talks about in his book. Now, his speech was sponsored by eFuneral, which is an online company. So where are people? Yes, they are online. So they said, our primary goal at eFuneral is to help funeral professionals serve consumers where they're spending most of their time online. So they brought in Seth, had him speak, and gave away his book at the convention. And yes, he signed it to me. How fun is that? To Gail. Wow. The next book, Why Facebook Works for Funeral Homes and Everything Else Doesn't. This is by a guy named Bill Johnston, and this is an excellent example of how a book can be used to promote your business. His company is called Post and Boost, and in this book, he presents ideas for explaining how Facebook works when you have a Facebook page. You put a post on there, but unless you actually pay Facebook to boost your post, not very many people are going to see your post. So in this book, he talks about why don't funeral homes feature their funeral directors or other staff members and do creative stories about the people who work at their funeral homes, not just posting about funerals and memorial services that they're holding. Now, I did do a separate video with Bill about this whole concept, and I'll link to that in the description below. So you want to check that out. Even if you're not a funeral director, you might consider what he is proposing about posting and boosting to your own work in whatever field you're doing if you're trying to promote it on Facebook. I love the title of this next book, Lessons from the Dead, Breathing Life into Customer Service. This is written by John and Nikki McQueen. The McQueen-Anderson funeral homes in Florida were very successful, primarily because John and Nikki were very big on the wow customer service. So they talk about in this book their experiences of bringing those little touches and listening to people. So marketing and making yourself well known as an excellent service provider, this applies to any field. And in fact, they retired from the funeral home business. They sold their funeral homes to a national consolidator, and now he's going out and speaking as an expert on excellent customer service. I like the toe tag on the cover. Oh. And finally, one of the other books that I picked up, Dr. David Kessler is an expert in grief. He actually worked with Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who wrote on death and dying. They co-wrote on grief and grieving. And so this is his latest book, Finding Meaning, the Sixth Stage of Grief. And I am going to devote a whole separate Mortality Minute book review video to this, because grief is a topic that is very hard for most of us to deal with. We don't want to admit that we're sad. The negative connotation of grieving a loss, but we all grieve losses. It's not just the death of people or pets that we love. It's also the loss of a job, the loss of physical or cognitive abilities in ourselves or others. So this is a very important concept that we will take up in another Mortality Minute video, because the sands of time have run out on this one. I'm Gail Rubin, the doyen of death, reminding you, just like talking about sex won't make you pregnant, talking about funerals and end-of-life issues won't make you dead. Please subscribe, like the video, and comment if you would like to see other books reviewed on our Mortality Minute book review series.